Live. We are live on Facebook, everybody.
All righty, guys. So thank you for joining us, whether you are here with us yet or still to come. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Kim and Vita, who have been, there's ASIDPA Vita, who have been for 6 weeks in a row coming live and talking about window treatments and helping to educate consumers and designers alike on window treatments and all the lovely magic that our designers do and Kimberly does and Vita does as well. So hats off to you guys. 6 weeks to do something in a row is not an understatement. We all have tried to do things like this. And you get to like the second week and you're like, whatever. So hats off to you. And I'm here with them today because I wanted to take a minute and share with you that the moment in time that we're in right now is, with COVID, we've used the word unprecedented 9,000 times. And now we have this next crisis, this next awareness that's come to all of us, and this next experience that our Black colleagues have been experiencing for years and decades. And maybe some of us are just finally waking up to the depth of the racism in America. Maybe some of you are fully educated, fully understanding, and maybe you are like me and really having many, many eye-opening conversations over the last 3-4 weeks. And I don't say that lightly. I am nearly 58 years old. I'm born in 1962. I would have thought that I knew the language around this. I knew the feelings around this. I knew the racism around it. But quite frankly, I'm learning. And the other thing is that through many conversations in the podcast over the last 2 weeks, some that have aired, like Corey Damon Jenkins aired on Monday, and some that have only been recorded and not aired yet, there has been more layers of ahas and lessons and, moments of, oh, okay. So you can think, speaking for myself, you can think that you operate a business for 39 years and you have a philosophy, and you can operate a podcast for 4.5 years and you have a philosophy of inclusion and of color blindness. And I will tell you that I personally do and did think this. However, just like anything, when you pay attention, you learn the things you didn't know. And that is the layers of what's happening in these last 2 weeks, in these conversations that I've been having with my friends, the Black interior designers that have come into my life and have enriched my life through the podcast and through our collaborations at WindowWorks. And so why am I saying all this? Well, earlier in the week, Kim and Vita, they have amazing relationships with so many interior designers, Black, white, yellow, everything, and had an idea to do something that they, in their heart of hearts, all of us in our heart of hearts, are doing from the right place, which is to put light, to feature the talent that is often pushed to the side. Because us at WindowWorks and Vitalia Inc., the phone rings, you got a project, we're coming. Unlike Corey Damon, who explained how the phone rang, yes, you have a project, and you get there, he gets there, and the woman won't work with him because he's Black. So I know that has not been the way we've operated our business. I know that's not the way that Vita operates hers, but that doesn't mean I really understand this issue. And that is the layer of awakening. And as someone pointed out to me this week in a conversation, there are ways that just by being white, I don't even see certain things. And so it's with hearing this and accepting it as Yes, accepting it as it's intended from my Black friends, as you are okay, but is okay where you want to be. Do you want to be better? And wanting to be better, I'm listening and I'm reading and I'm watching things that normally I would I would just not pay attention to. Not because not because I would say I see this, I don't want to know, just because moving in my life. And that's exactly what my Black friends are pointing out to me. You have to stop and pay attention. And so that's happening. However, it's a journey. I'm nowhere near through this journey. Kimberly, myself, Vita, we're nowhere near a level of depth of understanding on it. And where this comes from is having been asked by my friends to pay attention at a deeper level and to look deeper into myself, into the way just being white and showing up and doing things the way I do them, there is pain and consequences of that that is rippling from me. All of a sudden, now we're looking at the Facebook Live that we planned to feature our Black designer friends. And when I tell you no less than 2 hours of conversation today on should we do this, should we not do it, should we do it, should we not do it. When you know that you are doing something from a place that the intention is good, it's troubling to pull it back because we've seen the post this week. I've seen on Vita's page, she talked about a designer, Niall. Is it Niall that you
Niall
work with,
Johnson.
Vita? Niall Johnson.
Don't work with him, but he's amazing, yes.
Okay, so here's what I saw. We're having this conversation about, okay, pull this back. Don't, like, there's been, as I'm learning and as I'm paying attention, there has been conversation that says, basically white people don't co-opt this movement. White people don't capitalize on this. And all of a sudden we're, having this heart to heart with ourselves today and saying, is that what we're doing? B, no, soul reflection. No, we're hearing the other parts of the conversation that says, show our work, include us, let people know that there is this cadre, this legion, this army of talented Black designers. And so you sit with this today and it's like, are we capitalizing or are we sharing? And I know that we're sharing. However, I also know that maybe you don't know that. And maybe you would say, so what? Maybe you would say to me, it's not your place to share. I have to hear that. I have to accept that. But I also feel like there is a big platform connected with Window Works and Vitalia Inc., this podcast, which hundreds of thousands of people every month listen to. That's the level that my podcast is at. And when Vita posted about Niall, another designer, I saw her, she came in, the Pillow Goddess, and she said, wow, I never knew about him. I've now looked at his page. He's immensely talented and I'm following him. And so when we think our heart is to share the talent of the Black interior design community, but also knowing that by doing that, it still could look like we're co-opting it. And I don't have any answer for that. And my friend that I spoke to this week pointed out to me, it's because I need to keep learning and I need to keep searching for that. But this was planned. And when we think about the designers that we've been telling all week, Beth Diana Smith, Gail Davis, when they've responded and they've said, oh, this is cool, I'm looking forward to this. It was such a struggle for 2 hours today to decide what to do. And ultimately, here's where we landed. These Black interior designers are our colleagues. They are our friends. They do amazing work. We've been so honored and proud to be their window treatment retailers, just as we have been for every client that we've each ever worked with in our entire career. At some point, it seems, in all of the conversation that says, let people know that Black designers matter and that Black designers are here. And, you know, many of the Black designers that we work with here at WindowWorks are part of the Black Artists and Designers Guild in New York City that was founded by Mulaney Barnett. And one of the missions of the Black Artists and Designers Guild is to bring awareness to the artists and the designers. And this is just us trying to do that. And I hope that you take it for where we are in our journey. And the decision to go ahead with this was not easy. But ultimately, when I see a post that another Black designer was found because of something, then I just thought, honestly, that has been the thing in the industry. Where are the Black designers on the panels? Where are the Black designers with the license lines? Where are the Black designers in being featured in media? And if I've got 15 Black designers that I've worked with at WindowWorks, and I've got 40 or 50 Black designers that I've worked with on my podcast, then I feel like if we give them the place, the voice, the light on them, then maybe the media does find them. Because the Pillow Goddess found Niles today, but maybe Architectural Digest finds Niles. Maybe somebody else that, you know, sets up and wants to do a license finds them. So do I know if this is right? I'm going to tell you. What I've learned in the last 2 weeks is I don't know what end is up. I just know I'm looking for the top end. I feel like that we're underwater and I'm trying to find the top. And that's not to say that, you know, oh my God, poor me. I'm trying to, that is just the point. Like, it's just each of us looking for the place to find, you know, what we can do. I'm not on a panel featuring, but you're here. Yes, right? Yes. You are here. So thank you. And I know that you are often in my feed and we've talked a lot. So, you know, I hope that you truly know. You know what I feel like it's like? I feel like it's, if you don't say anything, how many times if you don't say anything, that's as bad as saying nothing. And it's worse than saying nothing. So I'm prepared to say things and make mistakes. I'm prepared to say things and have people call me on the private or the DM and say, lady, you blew it. But if I play it safe, then this platform with, you know, hundreds of thousands of people listening to it every single month can't be part of making sure that there is an opportunity. And that's all I'm really thinking about at this point is my niche is interior design and my niche is business. I feel like just like when I started this podcast, I went small to a niche in an industry that I knew so that I can make an impact and make a difference. So I'm going to stay in my lane in the industry. And when that ripple makes an impact and comes out, great. But I'm going to stay in my lane, and window treatments and interior design business is my lane. And if in my lane are cherished Black interior designer friends that are talented and have amazing work, and we have a chance to share them with the world so that maybe AD sees you, that's my lane. So let's just talk about window treatments now. You know, feedback is a gift. My Ann Honey, if you're listening to the podcast, you know I talk about my Ann Honey. Feedback is a gift. So I'm open to it and I accept it and I will evaluate it and hear it and understand it. And right now I am going to ask these two lovely ladies to just start showing us beautiful window treatments and beautiful designs.
Thank you, Luann. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you for that amazing and soulful speech. We appreciate it
All righty,
very
guys.
much.
Okay.
All right. So, the first designer that we want to feature here, let me just, I have to click separately on for
There we
Instagram.
go.
Yeah, the first designer is no stranger to the podcast, Luann, right? And I think a friend of yours, and that is Cheryl Luckett of Dwelled by Cheryl. And I listened to her podcast, I think it was a year ago or maybe two, and I was thoroughly impressed. And then, of course, when you start looking at her work, that is just even more impressive. So it is the first designer that I wanted to highlight. I mean, she's not local to me. It's not somebody that I work with personally. But as I picked the designers that I wanted to highlight in this feature, and P.S., it's not the first one. I mean, it's not the last one. It's the first one, but not the last one.
Yeah.
We'll be doing more and more of that. But anyway, Cheryl was somebody that I was so impressed with on the business level as well as on the design level. So I wanted to highlight her.
Yeah.
So
Cheryl, has developed lines of furniture with Sylvester Alexander. She has mentored other interior designers. She has been mentored by Ruthie Stolson. Cheryl is a leader in our industry, and she is a really, really smart entrepreneur. Yeah.
Exactly. And so some of the work, as I was looking through her work, and a lot of it is so very impressive, but this particular living room, family room really struck me. And specifically, our context here and our event is window treatments. That's what we talk about. And so, when the very first thing I saw was a pair of those gorgeous yellow draperies, and how it's like a showstopper. How do you not stop and look at it and look at it some more in detail? And then you see the purple chair, and then you see everything around. And I just love what she did there. My personal love in terms of draperies is when they're really bold and colorful, when they make a real statement in the room. And what better example of showing that is right here with these gorgeous yellow draperies on really pretty acrylic hardware. So well done, Cheryl.
Okay. All right, next up is a designer that is new to WindowWorks, Nao White. We are in the middle of working on a project with her because of COVID. We couldn't complete the project, but on the next slide here for Vita to show us is the sketchings and the renderings that she did for the project. And so what you see on the left are the renderings and what the project in the beginning stages, what they were going to be. What you see on the right is the before. So what I wanted to feature this project because it was really exciting. So come Tuesday, we're going to finish the project. So
I just spoke to Ania the other day and set it up for next week.
So hopefully in the next coming weeks, we'll be able to show the end result. But I wanted to put this here because it was a really cool project to work on, and I'm excited to see the end result on Tuesday.
Nice.
So a little preview, a little tidbit.
Sometimes we show the final work, and sometimes we have to show little previews.
The before, yeah.
The next designer that I wanted to highlight is Alana Fraley, interior design. And, you will see some of these designers that we're highlighting, they have their like Julianne's point earlier, they're leaders in the industry and they have big followings. And some are just amazing local designers. They may not have a following. They may not have done a lot of window treatments, little window treatments, or, the breadth of their work may vary. Our goal here today is to spotlight all sorts of different Black designers, regardless of their accomplishments and pedigree and just what they have done or the followers that they have. And so
not about their social media, so much as about their talent.
Exactly. And so what really struck me here, as opposed to what I said in my first highlight, that I really love those bright, colorful draperies. And even though it's my personal preference, I want to make a caveat note to say that at Vitalia Inc., what we personally feel and think about the colors and the designs and selections really has no bearing on on how we perform our job for our interior designers, because really it's their wheelhouse. It's what they do, and they read the customer and the situation the best. Our job is the execution, the engineering of it, and just making it look amazing. So here, I think we're experiencing slight difficulties here. So perhaps I am thinking, let me just finish off this particular highlight for Alana. These draperies are just really serene and beautiful. They create this monochromatic kind of look in the whole room. They are hidden behind the soffit, I think, created by the crown molding, and they just they're gorgeous in this room and exactly what this room needed. So just for the time being, if you guys can hang on with me, I need to end this because there seems to be some sort of a technical live issue going on. So I will be right back. Okay, please stay with us. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back just very shortly after this small commercial break, we'll call it. Okay, we'll be right back.
But how weird that my phone and the computer both shut off simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Yeah.
frig? It's like one shut off and we were like, oh, we got cut off. But they both went black at the same time.
Oh, now you're back.
I'm back?
Yeah. Chrissy just said you're back and Vita's gone.
How? Okay.
You're live.
How? Oh my goodness. I have no idea.
Can you see me?
Hold on.
She can hear you. The lives can hear you.
Now we can't hear anybody. I don't understand.
Okay, so we are. Can you hear? Okay, Kim, you're live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so
I don't know how.
This is fun.
We can't hear anything. We can't hear Vita.
You can't hear me.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Hold on.
I might say there's, a little bit of universe at hand here. Hear Kim say, "What the frig?"
That's awesome.
Oh, Lordy. Technology. Technology.
Now Vita's gone.
Oh, now I can hear it.
Yeah, but now Vita's gone.
Oh.
Okay. We're just going to hit stop.
All righty.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, now Vita's coming back.
Okay, Vita.
Oh, now
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Can you
There
hear me
we
now?
go.
Yeah, I've been able to hear and see you the whole time. I've been in and out
That's
like 5
awesome.
times just trying to see.
That's great.
Pulling the curtain back there, huh?
It's all right. You didn't say anything. It's fine. You're fine.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let's just look at pretty drapes, can we please?
Yes,
right.
please. Let's start. Wait, hang on. We need to. Do you need
With
to
the
hide? You need to hide us so I can pull up the presentation again.
Bring in the presentation. I'll do my thing. Yeah, bring that up first, and then yep. Okay, guys,
And I need to restart. Are we still on Facebook Live?
Yeah.
This is still streaming. This is great.
Oh, sure.
This is really great.
Okay.
I ended the Instagram Live, so I need to restart it.
Okay. All right. We're going to close out to get the presentation in, and we'll be right back, everybody. Lead-in. Our buddy lead-in. Oh. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Wait, hang on just 1 second. We need to get back on Instagram.
Okay. I'm going to try to do that. So how's everyone's Friday going? Fun times.
Okay, we're back live on Instagram. Sorry, you guys, just minor technical difficulties over here, but we are back on and excited to highlight Layden.
Okay, where can we put this so that we can see the comments on both? Okay.
All righty.
There we are.
All right, I'm just waiting for WindowWorks to join me here on Instagram Live.
SID PA is hanging in with us.
All right, Kim, thank you. Kim is our communications director. So Kim, thank you so much for hanging in here with us. You know what it's like to have technical difficulties, so we've all been there. Okay, and let me share the presentation. Hang on. This is like some major technical stuff here, you guys. You know, I mean, the fact that we're actually able to do it regardless and hang in there is a testament to our persistence and resilience.
Exactly.
Okay, we're fully back on. We're fine. We're all good.
All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about Layden, my buddy.
Do you want to talk about Layden?
I would love to talk about Layden.
Talk about Layden. This was, you know, the project that I put on the slide, but it was the project where he had the fabulous Maya Ruminoff wallpaper. The Dior paper in the hallway.
Yes, in Queens, in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, that project was. Okay, so Layden and I go back a lot of years. Layden, oh my goodness, my daughter, who's 31, was probably 2 or 3 or 4 years old when I met Layden. And he was a junior designer for another designer. And it was him and another young woman who were junior designers. They were the true essence of baby designers. And I did most of the interaction with the designers' projects with Layden because it's what he was tasked to do in the firm. And we got to be we got to know each other and do the projects together. And then when he went out on his own, thankfully and gratefully, he called us to do projects with him. And so this is many, many years of collaborating with Layden. And he does very, very, very creative things. And that project that you're talking about there in Brooklyn was one of them. Curved drapery rods cut into the ceiling. That wallpaper that we both, dropped dead, fell over about. And the showers and the kitchen in that project were just over the top. I mean, just so gorgeous. And retracting glass doors, the pocket doors. And this project is probably good 8 or 10 years older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Old now, right? So, but the point of it is, it was very cutting edge. It felt very like, whoa.
That was one of the first times we ever did like ceiling channels.
Yeah.
He didn't want to see the rod, but he wanted the fabric to float.
That was one of those act as if and just say yes.
Sure,
I mean,
we can do it.
He's like, oh, I don't want to see the rods. I'm like, and what would I do with them? He's like, can't we cut them into the ceiling? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Running out to the car to call Billy and say, can we do this? But it is the ingenuity of super talented interior designers that push you as a window treatment person out of your box. And I remember also one of the first projects that I did with Layden was Kips Bay. He was honored to be invited as a young up-and-coming interior designer to be in Kips Bay. And that's a funny story too, because he introduces that he's going to do the Kips Bay. And of course, he said that he went out on his own and blah, blah, blah. And would we do Kips Bay for him? And it was the very first time that we were asked to do Kips Bay by a designer. And I think I barely knew what Kips Bay was. And I was like, it's a show house. You need support. Yeah, okay. And I come back and I remember telling Vinny about it. And he's like, wait, so we're going to pay for it? Like, we're not going to get an invoice? And I'm like, no. When you donate goods in kind, you donate your labor, you donate everything to support the designer. And he thought I was nuts because we didn't know any better. This is like in the early 90s. And then Layden, and if you're watching this, Layden, I go out there to measure it, and he wants 3 walls of the room covered in draperies. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be a small bill here, right? But of course, we did the work. And from that project, an architect saw the work that we did for him. That architect called. I went on to do work for that architect for probably about 20 years before she retired. And it probably cumulatively was maybe $200,000 worth of work, because she did big projects, big bank projects and so forth like that. And so it's just so many stories with Layden, and his work is outstanding. So
wonderful. Thank you for bringing our attention to him, you guys. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, next, I wanted to highlight Claudia Steer of NW10. Very, very talented designer. As I was looking at her Instagram and her website, and just really doing a lot of learning, as well as soul searching, but a lot of learning and research in the past weeks or so. I saw her work, and I was just struck, especially by this room in particular.
It's gorgeous.
I mean, how gorgeous is this room? I mean, the combination of the green and pink and the exposed brick and the hardwood and all the custom elements here. But of course, here we're talking about window treatments. And I mean, how could they not stop me in my tracks? Just such beautiful pink drapery panels with grommet tops and just really nicely dressed, perfect length. Just it's such a interesting room with the 2 windows kind of coming into a corner like that. And it was just very, very impressive, Claudia. So thank you for sharing it on your website and social. And thank you for allowing us to highlight it here today. Great job.
Nice. Very nice.
Next, we have up Beth Diana Smith. We just finished working on a project with her for her 1-room challenge for her kitchen. So make sure you keep up with that, because I got to see it in person the before. So I'm really excited to see what the after is. So we did a Roman shade for that for Beth. So, but this next project that we're highlighting for Beth was these 2 windows. It was 2-story windows that we had to do. And the challenge with this space was the window on the left had another window above it. So the ceiling kept going higher in that space, where the window on the right, the ceiling just stopped where the rod was. So it was a challenge of, do we bring it all the way up, because the ceiling heights are a little different? So we went with making sure that the rods were at the same height to keep with the elevation of the room, because we did the living room and dining room area where these window treatments are featured in. You wanted to keep that element of the grandiose of the space, the tall, the tall ceilings, giving the backdrop almost to the really tall fireplace that the before on this was crazy. What she did to the space and the after was really great. And I just love the way that the window treatments just highlighted the arched windows. You can still see the arch, so we're not taking away from that, but bringing it all the way up and the height. And what you don't know is in this townhouse, there's a loft area that overlooks this area. So when you're up in the loft, that window on the left, you're almost at eye level with it. So that was, you know, part of the challenges of making sure that everything stayed even across. Because, you know, when you're dealing with window treatments that are that high up in the air, you're like, you know, who's really seeing it that high
it has
up?
to look good from the top.
But it also had to look good from the top. So that was, you know, it was a bunch of little things, but we were able to work it out. So
yeah, oh, that's an awesome project.
I love that one.
Yeah, she's been on the podcast too. Great business lady also. Comes from finance background.
All these people coming from corporate background and finance and Fortune 500, this and the other thing. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge.
Right brain, left
business
brain.
acumen. I just love it.
Right brain, left brain.
Okay, so here I wanted to highlight this other designer that I actually didn't know anything about, but as I was doing my learning, researching, and all that good stuff, I came across her, Decor by Demi, and she just seems like such a amazing personality in her work, in her pictures, in her website. She's got a beautiful family, and it's just so much fun to even just reading about her and researching and looking at her work and everything that she represents. And here, highlighting one of those projects is this. Such a cool bathroom. I mean, this Kelly green with stark white, beautiful, beautiful colors, gorgeous, bringing color onto the vanity, and then bringing that amazing fabric into the window, and then pulling that color out into the grosgrain tape on a custom shower curtain. I mean, this is some serious design work, you guys. And
gorgeous,
this is really,
gorgeous,
really incredible. So amazing.
And it's podcast green, so you can't go wrong.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that.
It's ingrained in my head, Luann. It's subconscious. Anytime I see green, I just like gravitate towards it.
Wow.
Next up, we have Keisha Franklin of Hamilton Interiors. Keisha is a designer local to us in New Jersey, and we have been doing her work on a couple of projects. Luann and I actually met Keisha back at High Point.
Well, when I had her in the discussion, High Point Market Authority invited me to do an individual live roundtable podcast, and I invited Keisha to join me for that. And then, you know, that's where she talked about how as a designer coming up and understanding her value and her worth, and understanding how to frame the conversation with her clients so that she charges what she's worth and for her talent and as a businesswoman. And then on Luann Live, on the stage at Luann Live, she killed it. Everybody loved her because she brought that same message there, sharing with everybody that, you know, you have a value for your intellectual talent and you need to charge for it. But what was cool is she showed her vulnerability in the journey to get there, because every designer does go through that journey of, am I, can I, should I, hell yeah, I'm gonna. So Keisha really made an impression on a lot of us.
And to Mimi's point, that was actually one of my favorite episodes. And
she was one of your favorite episodes.
And I remember when we were recording it live right there at, you know, in High Point. I remember saying to Luann, I kind of want to know more, and I'm a little sad that it was only 30 minutes.
Yeah, because I usually have an hour.
Because it was an hour, and they were like, "Okay, great, episode over," and I was like,
they got the king. I'm like, wait, I'm just getting dug in here.
So Keisha was great, and this was a project that we did for her this fall. It was a sliding glass door, and the challenge here was these are stationary panels. But as you can see with the sliding glass door, obviously the door has to open in one position. So what we did was the door stacks over to the right. So the panel on the left, although you see a pair, is that way when we want it to just look pretty and we're not using the door. But we put it on a decorative traverse rod so that when the homeowner wanted to go out and barbecue and everything else, he's not dealing with having to navigate a plate of food around that stationary panel. So that panel when he wants to use the door, has the ability to slide to the right. Perfect. And then it just looks like one stationary panel on the right. On the right.
Smart.
So it was, Keisha, we were going back and forth. I said, what if we just made this one panel on the left operable so we can get what we love, the pretty of the stationary panel, but then you also don't forego the function of, not being able to move the rod. So smart. That's why we went with a decorative traverse rod instead of a rod with rings. So this way it could just be, it could easily slide and there's a baton on either end. So perfect. That's a great project.
Very, very good solution.
Also, too, if you don't know, Keisha does a Instagram Live every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and they're great. So
I did not know, and now I do. And now I'm going to tune in.
Because I follow, and then if you don't have, if you can't follow at 6, I believe she's posting them to her IGTV. So there have been some really good ones on there.
And speaking of IGTV, even though we're going live right now, but all of our live Instagram live episodes are housed on IGTV as well, where we can, anybody who is not able to make it live, we're all busy running around and whatnot. So there's a library of these Window Treatment Friday lives for everybody to see and catch up on past episodes.
See, Mimi, now you know what to do with the sliding glass door. There you go. There's a quick little tidbit.
All right, and here we have Niall Johnson, interior design. Now, this is a designer local to me here in Philadelphia, and believe it or not, I actually didn't know about him. And so sometimes there's that. You have local designers, and he's even part of ASID, and I am ASID membership director. So, go figure, but it happens. Hey, listen, nobody's perfect.
Right.
And again, in the process of learning, researching, reading, recognizing, realizing, it's all part of this process. I stumbled on him, and I can't wait. Literally after this live, I'm picking up the phone and calling him and introducing myself and asking him how I can support him in whatever he does, window treatments or not, it doesn't matter, but we're here local to the Philadelphia area, and I want to be friends.
Yeah, let's see his work.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
How gorgeous is this dining room? This is something that we posted earlier today on my feed, and I got amazing response. And the Pillow Goddess, Luann, to your point earlier, this is the work that she saw, and it's just beautiful. They're beautiful, sheer, relaxed Roman shades inside the windows, and they're framed by gorgeous pleated drapes with contrasting banding on the leading edge. So amazing work.
Very nice. Very nice. Aw, my gal. Rashida, we met her in Philly in Cravat the first time. Mm-hmm. This lady knocked my socks off. First time I met her. Mm-hmm. She came up, started talking to me, said she listened to the podcast, and told me that she was working it as a side hustle.
It was her part-time gig.
Part-time gig. What? Well, but the thing was, then I said, oh, how many projects do you have? And we were there in the fall, and she's like, I have 20 to date this year. And I'm like,
and this is part-time.
Part-time, had a full-time job, has children, has a husband, has all the responsibilities. But Rashida has been a shining star, and her design, she has been mentored by Cheryl Luckett. Mm-hmm. So she's been one lucky lady. She's been on the show. She's coming on my show again.
Oh, nice. I remember that episode. It was also, I think, maybe a couple of years ago that I listened to it, and I was just, or maybe a year, I don't know, time is like, and I was blown away by her. Here's another example of a corporate dropout, if you will, or somebody who consciously decided to exit corporate, myself included, and start a career in the design industry. But yes, she's quite amazing, and she is also local to the Philadelphia area, and actually literally about 30 minutes from me and my studio in Vitalia Inc. And she and I had just recently, we actually, during this whole COVID shutdown, we kind of hopped on the phone and had like not a phone, like one of those Zoom calls, and had sort of like a virtual coffee date, if you will. How we used to all go on these coffee dates to Starbucks and whatnot, and now we're all locked down, so we're having virtual ones via Zoom. And it was just wonderful to get to know her on a personal and more intimate level.
Let you in on a little thing that you don't realize.
Oh, no, what?
Here, we're gone again.
on Instagram, but we're still live on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great. The Instagram was gone again.
Yeah.
They both, just fair warning, when they both went, yep, Instagram's gone. So we're by everyone on Instagram, but this is what happened the last time, and then it just dropped on Facebook.
But so I was going to say to you, Vita, you didn't know this, but if High Point hadn't been canceled, Rashida is in our High Point house. So you would have gotten to know Rashida very well. So,
next time.
She's taking your room. You wouldn't have, you know her, but so that you would have come in, and then Rashida was scheduled to come in as you were leaving. So anyway, so yes, Rashida is a good friend of ours and a very talented designer. So
very talented designer, and just highlighting her room here. She's a fan of geometric patterns. So this is what she did here. She really took a somewhat neutral and monochromatic room and really spiced it up quite a bit with these geometric pattern draperies. So I also really like how she took the rod all the way to crown molding versus just stopping it at the window, even going halfway, and just really elevated and brought the eye up as much as she could. So I thought she did a really great job there.
Great. Very good. Very good.
So Kim, are you joining? Yes.
I'm asking you to join. Yep.
All right.
Third time's a charm, folks.
We're going to try this again. Is this Friday the 13th? Is it 13th today?
It's the 12th.
Hey, Friday the 13th is a lucky day. Don't be disparaging Friday the 13th.
Christy was born on Friday the 13th.
That's right.
Oh, I see. All right. Hey, welcome, friends, again.
Hi, we're back.
Hey, you're back. Good to see you. All right. And next,
Ruthie's with us.
Hi, Ruthie.
Pollock. Hi, Ruthie.
Gail.
Our buddy.
Okay, we have Gail Davis here. Gail is a talented designer over here in West Orange and a friend of mine. So I love collaborating. South Orange, sorry. It's just the day.
Potato.
But yeah. A good friend of mine, and I love collaborating on work with her. And this next room was one that was a lot of fun. So with these, these drapery panels here, they are operable drapery panels on a French return rod. So this is probably one of, I think Gail was probably one of the second designers that we started working French rods with.
Oh, really?
French return.
Well, the first one I remember was Anyon in San Francisco.
From San Francisco, when that trend started coming over, and then
Gail was next.
Gail was like, "I want the rod that goes like that." I'm like, "That returns back to the wall, sure." And it was one of those like, "Okay, let me figure that out for you," and got on the phone and jumped on it. But this was a really cool project. That again, these panels. The challenge was the space on either side of the window. That window on the far end there, it's a window and a door combo, and there wasn't a lot of room because of the dry bar. So it was the challenge of making sure that we were able to stack the panels when they were in the open position like that and still have the flexibility to go out on the patio. But the homeowner did want it so that he could draw the drapes shut when he did want the privacy. So
very good. So Gail was on the podcast too, so you can hear her story on the podcast. Comes from great design background, working for high-level firms in New York City, so got some good training and good chops. And Gail also has her own podcast on Anchor.
Yes.
Gail Davis Designs, I think it's called. It's on Anchor. It's an app that you can put on your phone, Anchor, and then you can search for Gail Davis and you'll come up. And she's done 13 or 15 or 16 episodes so far. So I encourage you to follow Gail both on her podcast and on her social feeds.
The podcast is a Design Perspectives.
Design Perspectives, sorry. Nice. I always search Gail Davis. The Anchor doesn't keep it like the iTunes app. You save your podcast. Yeah. The Anchor doesn't save it. So every time I have to go in, put her name in, and then I come up and then I can listen to it. So, all right.
Well, and
Miss V. Yes. Miss V.
I mean, we cannot possibly talk about highlighting Black interior designers and their window treatment work without mentioning Veronica Solomon. I mean, there's just no way, because her work is just, it is just heads, and above the, it's just amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And there's such signature to it. I mean, it's like, it's almost like as soon as you see a picture, you know it's her work. I mean, she's got like
Yeah.
that signature style, and a lot of it is so bright and vibrant, and just really quite
And we didn't say her
amazing.
name, Veronica Solomon.
Yep,
I
I
said
did.
in this video, oh, I didn't hear you say Veronica Solomon. Yeah.
Veronica
And
Solomon. Yep, yep. And so here's,
amazing business leader.
and also, if anybody is not, by some odd chance, is not part of her Facebook group, you absolutely must join. It's called What They Didn't Teach Us in Design School, and
That's
it's
a lot.
I think there's like over 4,000 members,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
close to 4,500, and it's a
Easy.
very active group. There's postings going on every day with questions, and there's a ton of answers to. I mean, it's very unusual, I think, would be to not get answered by like 10, 15, 20 people, and oftentimes more. Oftentimes you see like 50, 70 comments, and so that just speaks to the how interactive the group is and how valuable the information is, and how everybody feels not just good about being there, but also how they all want to contribute. And in great part, it's Veronica's contribution and what she has done and how she's cultivated those relationships.
That's her thing. You know, next to interior design, her mission is to be a mentor. And she really does, you know, walk the talk in her group. And she really will take the time to put videos in and long posts teaching designers the nuances of their business and their craft. So she's an excellent leader.
Yeah.
She's been on the show too, so she can hear her backstory on my show.
Yeah, exactly. So that concludes this specifically highlighting those amazing 12 Black designers. We will be highlighting more designers in the future, Black and white, and of all sorts of races and backgrounds. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Yep. So at Window Works, we work retail with people, but we also work trade with designers. And so as they continue their, lives every week, as Vita said, it will be just here and there, mostly educating you on the possibilities with window treatments. So we encourage you guys to keep going, and for the rest of you to keep joining them and to ask your questions. Yes. All righty. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Vita.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right.